Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Yeah.
You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show till Mets do us part. John from Brooklyn, Gibby reps NJ. With the other team, I don't care what your friends say. Mets fans, we focus like a sensei. Listen to the podcast Monday, Wednesday. Made a couple bad plays, but we still won. Character, yup, we're gonna build some. Are you gonna check the pod? Is real fun. Just like Mookie, I will, son. So invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show.
Available now on all streaming platforms. If you love the New York Mets, check out Till Mets Do Us Part. Enough rapping. Let's get to yapping.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome into another episode of Til Mets Do Us Part. We are live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on Substack, like we are each and every single week. I'm not even going to attempt to say 5:30 because I know what the comments are going to be. It's 5:41. It's all good. You survived. We made it. We're all here. It's not a problem. Just deal with it. You know what I mean? Sometimes stuff happens. It is what it is, what it is. John Saponaro out in Los Angeles, California. And that means that my co-host holding it down, and I do mean holding it down, especially last week when you jumped in, filled in for me last minute, had the great Keith Diaz on with you as well. So when I say holding it down, I really mean it. Matt Ibanez in New Jersey. Ibby, we have a lot to talk about. World Baseball Classic in the rearview mirror, which means that the season is upon us, just about a week away. We can talk about all of it. We will talk about all of it. We'll probably talk about the injury that happened to me. I know some people are already in the comments asking about it, talking about it, making fun of it, whatever. But we do have a lot to talk about, especially with our New York Mets. Before we get into that, again, thank you for doing the show last week without me.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good, John. Obviously, I think that question really should be pointed more at you, but we'll get into that shortly as I got a little bit of a preview of that before we went on, but I'm sure others want to get a full breakdown because it does sound crazy. I told you it sounded crazy. You start explaining to me, it still sounds crazy to me, but we'll get into that in a moment. But I'm doing well. Weather's turning a little bit over here. Nice day, still cold. But yeah, opening day around the corner. Week away. We got our, the predictions, bowl predictions, season preview coming up next week. I'm excited about that. Obviously, Mets baseball's on the horizon. We're almost done with spring. There's still some storylines to talk about, which we're going to get into. But yeah, I'm pumped up, man. Like I've been waiting a while. Like we said, we're tired when we're about 2 weeks into the spring. It feels like we've been talking a lot about the same stuff over and over, but it's almost here. It's almost the start of Mets baseball, even though the weather says that opening day is probably going to be around 40 degrees, maybe some snow in the forecast. But either way, Mets baseball is on the horizon. I'm pumped up. It's Wednesday, red lights on. Let's get into it.
It was 98 degrees yesterday where I live.
Kiss ass, Saponaro.
Listen, okay,
Kiss
no, look,
ass.
I know that sometimes I know I go back and forth on this, where it's like I'll rub it in your face when it's like 75 degrees and sunny here and it's 20 degrees there. I know I will do that. But like 98 on March 17th is not fun either. You know what I mean? Like, I know we'd all probably rather 98, especially with baseball around the corner and with the snow that you guys have gotten, especially over the last month or so in the East Coast. Like, I know you trade it for 98. But when I tell, like, it's just not good. Like, I can't even walk my dog. Like, my dog is outside for like 9 seconds and looking at me like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm like, you think I want to be out here? I'm out here because of you. You got to be out here. Like, Joe DeMeo checking in saying, what's John's favorite 98 Degrees song? I don't know that I remember. Like, I remember a lot more In Sync and Backstreet Boys songs.
Yeah. They do have a popular. I can't. It's slipping my brain right now, but they do have a popular song.
Did they do "Promise You"? Is that like this? I promise you. Is that 98 Degrees?
No, I don't think that was. Was it? No,
I don't know. Anyway,
because of you.
Call.
Because of you. That was one of them.
I don't remember that. I'm trying to remember like their first song. And that would probably be my favorite one. Like if I had to pick one of like favorite, being using that term very, very, very loosely. 98 Degrees came out at a time, and maybe you could attest to this because we're right around the same age. Where like it wasn't for us. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't music, like boy band music was not being marketed to you and I. And I think like it's just like, hey, you're a little at the time. You're in your formative years of like discovering music that like you want to discover, like up until that point, like, you know, you kind of listen to what's on the radio with your parents, your grandparents, whoever you're spending time with, whatever. But you know, then you kind of get like, you know, for me, I'm like 12, 13, 14 years old. And now I'm like pretty snobbish about music because you only like the music that you found, you know, you're like, I only like this music. And then you get older and you're like, honestly, man, Britney Spears goes hard. I was like, you didn't want to admit it then, but yeah, like, I don't know. It never really circled back for me for bands like 98 Degrees. Whereas like, you know, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, that was just, they had a little bit more staying power as far as I'm concerned. So I kind of agree. Boat on a lot of the 98 Degrees songs. Although Lazy Mary saying John strikes me as someone who tried to do frosted tips in high school. I never had frosted tips. I never dyed my hair. But you know, thanks, I guess. I don't know. I'm just I'm locked into trends, Ibby, according to Lazy Mary. Speaking of, we have Lazy Mary, we have Joe DeMeo, we have Ethan in the house, Armand is here, we have Alonzo, we have Julian, shout out Julian, we have Brando is in the house, Mike Laverty is here, KP Klink, who else? Brad in the house, a lot of familiar faces, as it usually is when we start the show. I don't know who this is. Is this Ken Thal? Some people's handles get like changed. I think there's
I don't know. Maybe
it looks like guess. The way Ken's thing started. If you're still here, Ken, let us know if that's you.
It does say me. It says me here. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe so I guess that's Who else? Don't want to miss anybody. Carlos Ortiz, Ruben Tybee is here. Who else? Thank you saying welcome back, Alonzo. Appreciate that. Chrissy is here. Show the Frankenstein hand, John. Okay. It's pretty gnarly, but there it is. It's pretty gross. If you want to see a still of that, you can go ahead and go to my Twitter or my Instagram where it is posted. And then we have Hack a Bus. So, Ibby, do you want to spend any time talking about what's going on with my hand or no?
I mean,
you want to save it? You want to talk about it now?
I mean, we can just get it out of the way. I mean, it could be part of the. I mean, it wasn't the reason why you weren't here last week, but we could just say, it's part of it, whatever. But like, you had an incident.
Sure.
We all know John plays softball. He's doing double duty that day because he was also going to AEW Revolution, which was a fantastic show. So he's got a busy
too
day.
Long, though. It was too long.
It was a long show. I know.
Dude,
it's a long show. Even though you were still done with plenty of time left, it's 1:00 on the East Coast when that show ends. You know, it's ridiculous. But obviously you had a crazy day.
Yes.
You're playing softball.
Yes.
I was not aware of how the ball was coming at you because I thought for some reason I was automatically thinking it was a hot shot ground ball. You told me otherwise. It wasn't that. I still don't understand how this could possibly happen. The floor is yours. What happened on this play?
Okay, so Chrissy needs play-by-play. So I'll give you guys the best of what happened. So I'll admit there was a little bit of user error, which I'm sure Lazy Mary saying that I'm unathletic and that we will be teaching John the proper fundamentals of how to catch a ground ball, or should we discuss his softball plans? I don't want any advice from Lazy Mary about athleticism. The fact that I'm 40 and can play 4 softball games in a day, I'm plenty athletic. It's fine. But there was some user error in there. So I don't know, Ibby. I think if you play enough baseball, you play enough softball growing up. Yeah, somebody get Kai Correa. We talked about this a little bit before the show started. We've all had balls, ground balls, bad hops, whatever, hit your bare hand. It is what it is, right? And sometimes you jam a finger, sometimes you break a fingernail, sometimes you get that like blood underneath your nail bed. I've had all that stuff happen. I've never actually broken a finger doing that, but like I've just had some things where you get a little bloodied up. So it's it's co-ed softball, Mr. Worms. It wasn't co-ed softball, but okay. It just goes to show you how little people actually know about me, but they love to just assume everything. Anyway, it was this weird kind of sinking liner coming at me. And I did for a moment, this is the user error bit. I took my eye off the ball to see where the runners were because I knew I was going to have to just throw immediately. And so I'm running in full tilt. I've got my glove out in front of me and I've got my bare hand kind of cradled underneath so I can get my hand in the glove and get ready to throw as soon as I catch the ball. And I kind of just looked off to see where the runner was at third, and the ball just skimmed past my glove and hit me square on the bare hand. And it split my hand in between my ring finger and my middle finger, like in the middle, like down to my palm. And the blood was immediate. It was all over my hand. It was all over my cleats. It got so much so that I could not finish the play, which is atypical for me. I was just telling you, like, when I broke my glove hand last summer diving for a ball, I actually was able to get up, finish the play, and throw the runner out. Like, I got an outfield assist to end the inning with a broken hand. I will play through. It was so gross that I would not pick up the ball because I also, like, first of all, I didn't want to get any like dirt, dust, grass, whatever in my hand. Also, I didn't want to get blood all over the ball. And I also, no, I did not see bone, as Mike Laverty asks, but like I saw way deeper into my body than you should ever see. And it was gross. Like I'm not really squeamish. I'm okay with blood or whatever. I looked at it and I was like, oh my God. Like I got like real groggy real fast. So anyway, how did it happen? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm assuming based off of how fast it might have been coming down and then it hits your hand like that. I'm assuming it's the lace of the ball, like the seam of the ball, I should say. Like that's the only thing I can possibly think of. Like, other than that, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me for it to split like that.
It's weird. I think it's just like, like in between your fingers is just like, it's delicate. Like the skin on your hands is thin to begin with. And in between your fingers, it's pretty delicate too. And honestly, I think there was like sort of like a cannonball effect, like people think like cannonballs explode. They don't. It's just the force of shooting like a giant metal ball that's going to just hit something and like blow it up. Like it's just going to destroy stuff. And I think it was just like the way that it came down, it just hit my hand so perfectly. What was the exit velo? I don't know, enough to fucking split my hand in half. I'll tell you that much. But no, in all seriousness, and shout out to everybody who asked and is concerned and all that stuff. Even shout out Lazy Mary. I know you're just fucking around. It is what it is. I don't really know. I've been playing some version of baseball or softball since I'm about 5 or 6 years old. I'm 39, going to be 40. I've played a lot. I've never seen this happen to anybody. I've certainly never had it happen to me before. So I don't really know, Ibby. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss. I'm happy it's not worse. I thought, thought for a second, like when I went into the urgent care, the doctor was like, oh yeah, you might have like, this might have split your tendons. This might have split the ligaments down your hand. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound good. She's like, no, that wouldn't be great. That wouldn't be great. But fortunately, I can do this. So that means that my ligaments and my tendons are intact. So yeah, no, it sucked. I wish it would have happened on a more I wish it would have happened on a better play. Like I will admit, like there was user error in there. I made a mistake that I normally don't do, which is, take my eye off the ball before I finish the play. But it happens sometimes, I had made 4 plays before that without incident. We're in like the 5th or 6th inning of the game and disaster struck. So nobody cares beyond that. Odd Villain saying Teddy Roosevelt got shot and finished the speech. John got cleated and finished a play. Same level of thugging. No, it was it sucked, honestly. Like it made me queasy. Lazy Mary saying, am I just fucking around? But then saying, yeah, I'm glad it's not worse than that, John. Speedy recovery. No, I appreciate it. It was just weird, man. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen happen on the field. And I once, when I was about 12, saw a dude on my team, like a pitch came up and in playing hardball, and he turned to get out of the way, and the ball still hit him and splattered his nose across his face. And that was probably worse, but this was just, oh man, like 2 of the worst things I've ever seen. Ruben Tybee saying, can you cook with one hand? I cannot cook right now. No.
Oh no.
I can't use, it's also, I'm right-handed. So this is my dominant hand. I can't hold a knife. I can't do anything with it.
The new channel that we were going to open up was sauteing with Saponaro is on hold right now. It's on hold. We got to wait. We got to wait until the hand gets better.
Yeah, man. It was so weird, dude. Like, honestly, like there was the initial shock, and then we'll move on because again, nobody really cares. We want to talk Mets, but there was the initial shock of what happened. There was also the like, how the fuck did I let this happen? Being honest, like I was a little bit of like, I just never like, I don't do that. Like, and I was just like, how did I let this happen? How did this not happen? Diving, sliding, whatever. No, the most routine situation, the most freak thing. And this happens. And then it was also just like, man, I like looking at it. Oh God. And then I was like, cool. I got to the urgent care. They had to do x-rays to make sure I also didn't like break my finger or break a bone in my hand. And so it was like unwrapped, and I made the mistake of like walking back to the room, like from the x-ray room. And I looked at it again and I was like, I'm going to throw up. I was like white as a ghost. Joe DeMeo, as we move on, saying, hey, are you guys going to watch the spring breakout game tomorrow, starring a guy not good enough to make the intro video for this show? I'll take that.
I mean, I plan on watching it. I retweeted once that person, posted something about being a part of the broadcast, and it's awesome to see for said person. And of course, we're all just being coy. We know who said person is, that being the great Joe DeMeo. And again, working on getting you into that intro. But the game itself,
I can't do it
I'm
now.
excited.
My hand is busted.
But either way, very excited to watch the game. I know that they just put out the roster before. A lot of the names that you would expect to be there are going to be there. The ones that Mets fans are familiar with, that being the likes of some that we talked about last week, AJ Ewing, Jack Wenninger, Jonathan Santucci, Jacob Reimer. Very excited about that one. A lot of fun names. Chris Suero. Like, there's a lot of fun to look down on the farm with the Mets right now. So seeing that spring breakout game is going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully you crush it, Joe. And I know that you will.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, shout out Joe DeMeo for being a part of that. That's awesome. I don't think I can watch it, Ibby. So like I have like the MLB.TV package, but I get it through T-Mobile. Like they have that partnership deal. And so it doesn't kick in until like right before the season starts. So like I can't reactivate mine. I think it's like the 24th or the 23rd, whatever that Monday is, like the week the season starts. That's when I can activate it. So I don't know of any other way that I can watch it, right? Because it'll just be on SNY. I mean, I guess I could like. This
clearly shows why Joe is Team Ibby over Team John, because I'm watching him and you're blowing him off. It's okay. It's understandable. We get it.
Michael Laverty saying this Tuesday. Yeah, so it'll be after the game. And then Odd Villain saying illegal stream, hit me up. I don't, you know what, Ivy, I can't do and I grew up in the Napster, LimeWire, torrent, everything era, as did you.
Destroying your parents' computers like we all
100%. I can't do like the illegal streams. To me, they always crash. And I also just have this like phobia that I'm also destroying my computer. Listen, I'll pop on a VPN and I'll watch, I'll pop on a VPN and I'll watch, I don't know, WWE on Netflix, even though that thing is not supposed to be on Netflix. I don't know. Joe DeMeo saying, I saw something, it might be on MLB Network too, but not sure if that's a regional thing. I'll check it out. If I can find it, I would obviously love to watch Joe do his thing. And if you have the ability to watch it, you should absolutely watch Joe do his thing. Odd Villain saying, giving your computer STDs for the Mets is valid. Ibby, we should probably start with the thing that we're going to put in the rearview mirror, even though it's maybe not the most Met-centric thing in the world, which is the World Baseball Classic. World Baseball Classic ended last night. Congratulations to Venezuela winning the gold, winning first place, winning the tournament, however you want to put it. I believe that's the first time Venezuela has won, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
The U.S. has won once. And DR has won once or twice. Japan has won twice. And I think Cuba won.
I'm blanking on those early years.
Somebody can let us know, but I believe Japan has 2 wins. DR has 1. The US has 1. Venezuela now has 1. And maybe Cuba was the other one. I don't remember the other one in there. But anyway, congratulations to Venezuela.
Yes, of course.
Very well earned, very well deserved. Ibby, look, there's a lot of different ways we can take this. Rosie saying it seems like Team USA wasn't having much fun. I did put out some tweets where people were annoyed by certain things about it. I'm not going to get into the political side of it, although I maintain what I was saying is not very political, just more of like, why aren't you having more fun? Why aren't you embracing the culture that is apart from just the military? Like, why do you have to do military salutes in the outfield when the Italian team is drinking espresso? Can't you do something more fun? Like, I don't know, get a hamburger and a hot dog and take a bite in the dugout. Like, just do something American. Slap an apple pie in somebody's face. Like, do something American that doesn't involve the military. But my point is, Ibby, it doesn't seem like this team was set up for success at all. It didn't seem like any of the players, like the big ticket players, necessarily wanted to be there all that much. From Bryce Harper's comments to Aaron Judge's comments, it seems like they were taking themselves too seriously at times. It seemed like they weren't taking themselves seriously enough at times. Mark DeRosa didn't know the rules. Andy Pettitte said he was underwater trying to get information on DR's lineup. Everybody in DR's lineup is a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah, that one was bad.
So
I thought that was a joke at first, and then I found out it was real. I thought that was a joke.
So look, not only are they not having fun, but it seemed like, Ibby, they were incapable of having fun and incapable of being prepared. I know you and Keith talked about the Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena thing and how like it's kind of a nothing thing. And then, Josh Naylor kind of put the nail in the coffin, no pun intended, when he tried to give a fist pump to Cal Raleigh and just saying like, look, we're on different sides right now. Like it's all love when we get back to Seattle. And I understand that part of it, but like, there's nothing wrong with giving the guy the fist pump either. You know what I mean? Like you're going to not shake his hand and then you're going to go like 0 for 4 again. Like big bad Cal Raleigh can't give a handshake. So I just feel like everything the US did along the way, this entire tournament just showed you that like they weren't prepared to win. They weren't prepared to play. They just weren't ready for whatever this thing was going to be. And that's a shame. That's a shame.
I think a lot of it, and I agree with Ethan here saying that, from day one, it's okay. From day one that they were, very cocky and felt like they could just coast to the finals. And I think that for the most part, they did sleepwalk to the finals. And It's upsetting because I think it comes down to them believing their own hype and how everyone basically anointed them into the finals from the jump, and they assumed it was going to be a rematch with Japan. Then you see Japan get upended by the eventual winners in Venezuela, and you see how this team just struggled offensively, which is crazy to think. And it's a year where they finally were given pitching or starting pitchers that are considered stars. And yes, you can talk about the Tarek Skubals and what have you, or the game that you chose to throw Skeens in or whatever. Like, it just comes across to me like they were there, but they weren't there. And I don't think that they truly, as a team, bought in, because I still question if the U.S. wants to be there. I think a lot of the other countries are very prideful when it comes to said country, and they want to do it for said country. But when you think of the U.S., I think the U.S. player in general is more focused on what baseball was or how it's been presented to them since they started playing, what their goal was, which was to be a major league player, which was money. And you're focused on where you get your money from, and your job as a major leaguer is to play for said team, the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, what have you. Like, all of your focus goes there. That's what you care about, because that's what butters your bread, essentially. Doing this is extracurricular. So it's kind of like it's like America, but like, I don't feel like they ever truly bought him because they care more about their team. Like, it's whatever, but I think if you're going to do this, you need to be bought in. And when you have talent like this, I think a lot of the very like not into it aspect in terms of like celebrations and stuff, and very stiff, like everyone thought America came across as, in comparison to everyone else having a blast and having fun. I think that age has something to do with it too. I was thinking about this today because I knew we were going to talk about it. I was like, maybe it's the fact that when you have elder statesmen on the team, they kind of take the lead as leaders, if you will, and you kind of play off of them. And if those people don't have the outgoing personalities, you as a team just adopt what they do. And when you're looking at someone like Bryce Harper say what he says, and Aaron Judge, the way he goes about carrying himself, and Kyle Schwarber is, who he is or what have you. And then you got Cal Raleigh. It's like a lot of these things, it becomes very like docile, downtrodden, not having fun. Whereas if you didn't have Bryce Harper, and let's say you had Nick Kurtz from Oakland, or from the Athletics, I should say, like, you have younger players, like maybe something like that would allow someone like PCA to be more like himself and have Gunnar Henderson stand out more, and Bobby Whitman. I don't know, like maybe that's what it is. But in general, it felt like they were very flat. It was frustrating. And I think everyone in this chat could agree with me that watching that game last night was so frustrating. I felt like I was watching a Mets game in June. I really did. Like, I was just watching a team that could not hit the ball, not support my pitcher, knowing the results that were going to happen before they even happened. And then it ends up, being what it is. Like, it was very frustrating overall.
It's funny that you brought that up, because I was actually going to say something similar, and I didn't want to, because I didn't want to muddy the waters of my point, but I agree with you completely. Like, I was going to say it's near and dear to Mets fans' hearts to watch this team, especially with what we watched from the Mets last season, being so, business-like, if you will, where it's just like, oh yeah, like, you're just going to go out there and like, we'll get them eventually. We just go out there and, eventually our talent is going to supersede. Well, it never did. And it never did for the Mets in 2025. And it certainly never did for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Ibby, they barely beat Canada. And then they barely beat DR. And then they got beat by Venezuela. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's after losing to Team Italy. Like, it just wasn't, they just never really put on the performance that they should have. Like, is there any one game you could point to? Was it one of the early games in pool play? Was it Israel, one of the other teams that they beat a team really well? Like, they just like,
they scored 15 runs, but I think that game went on a lot longer than it should have. Like,
was that Israel?
They broke out. Maybe it was, but I just remember that there was that one game where they poured it on, but they were kind of just hanging around for the first, couple of innings, if you will. And then they poured it on late, like in bunches. And then you never really saw anything since. And I'm sorry, like, when you have this many stars on your team and the offense just goes cold, I would understand. Like, I could get when DR has as many stars as it does, and they run into Paul Skeens because Paul Skeens is arguably the best pitcher on the planet. And I had a feeling we talked about, like, I thought that DR would get truly tested in that game because they had, to that point, they had not faced a pitcher. They are putting up these pinball machine numbers, but they did not face a pitcher of any merit. They throw Skeens out there, and then he holds them in place outside of the Caminero home run on a flat slider, I think it was. So, like, outside of that, like, I don't know, man. It was very, very, it was too lax. It was no urgency. It was, stars like that going as cold as they do. Like I said, it felt like I was watching, the top end of the Mets lineup when you're praying for those 4 bats to do something, but they all go cold together. That's what this US lineup did for the majority of this tournament.
Odd Villain saying it was the Netherlands that they jumped all over, and then like that game should have been over. That game should have been mercy ruled, but for some reason they just like let it kind of go on because they let them get back in the game. Amy, I want to bring this up because it's funny, but it's also appropriate. But it's all like you'll see where I'm going here in a second. Lazy Mary said Ibby just clinched so hard when John said politics and then said politics in the safe. But Odd Villain said, bro, shotgun beers, like as a celebration for like Team USA. I was joking about like, slamming an apple pie in somebody's face. Odd Villain says, wear an Uncle Sam hat. Like, it's like, and then he goes on to make a political joke.
Like an Uncle Sam. Yeah, like an Uncle Sam hat with like, let's say like a vest style that shows off the muscle or whatever, like American, like something like that. Like, I get it for sure.
Even that does toe a little bit because like that is a I want you. It is a military thing, but it's also been parodied so many times, right? You have like Apollo Creed wore that in the Rocky movie when he fought Drago, like so like you could do some stuff that's just. My point is when I say this is. Just have a little bit of fun. When you have teams, doing the bachata and you have teams shooting espresso and like there's something fun that you can do when I don't think, and I said this online and I don't want to rehash it, but it'd be like, I don't think if you are a group, you mentioned the fact that this team had a lot of elder statesmen, which means established major leaguers, which means guys making a lot of money.
Yes.
I don't think a group of professional baseball players, most of whom are multi-millionaires, need to get a speech given to them by a Navy SEAL to rouse them up to go play baseball in an exhibition tournament that doesn't count for anything. Like, to me, that's just too much. Like, why? Why are you're doing the most while also not doing the least. And what I mean by that is, again, DeRosa not knowing the rules of whether or not they were going to be eliminated or they were poised for elimination, or Andy Pettit not knowing, how to get information on Team DR when, again, they're all major leaguers. It's like, this is war to us. We're trying to win like crazy. Okay, well, everything else that you did is showing me that you barely care about being there. Right down to Bryce Harper going, yeah, this is great, but the Olympics would be better. Oh, okay. Oh, great. Okay.
You're probably not even going to be at the Olympics.
No, of course not.
I mean, again, shout out to Harper because he hit the homer last night. He's the only one that actually hit the ball, but like, it's better late than never, like it was said in the call. But like, to say stuff like that, it's just the timing of that was very poor, especially when you had so many people questioning, how the U.S. looked to that point. And then you say something like that. It's like, okay, like, do you want to be here? And if this is the way you feel, then why are you here?
Yeah. Armand actually correcting. It was USA scored 15 runs on Brazil.
Okay.
That was the game. This is a good one. Test the espresso for PEDs. No, it's weird to me, which brings me to my next point, which is, maybe I've said this to you before. Major League Baseball constantly looks for love in all the wrong places, right? They change rules. And look, we've been wrong on some of these things, right? Like some of the pace of play things have actually kind of really worked, right? Like we were like, I'm down on this. I don't like that. But it's not crazy. Actually, it works pretty well. But they look for love in the wrong places a lot of the times. And look, I'm not somebody who's going to say you need to have people on Fox talking about the World Baseball Classic and it all has to be puff pieces and no one can share a real opinion and all of that stuff. Listen, you have the guys you have that are employed by Fox to talk baseball. So if one of them has an opinion about the World Baseball Classic, let them express it, right? Like be fair, be honest. But like from Harper, who's on the team saying, this is cool, but it's not the Olympics, to Derek Jeter, who's saying nobody who's played in a World Series thinks that this is on par with the World Series, when, by the way, Kike Hernandez has played in 5 World Series and he says it's bigger than the World Series, so shut up. But like, no one does a better job at throwing ice water on the game of baseball than Major League Baseball.
I'm also pretty sure
Classic works.
Yes. Yeah.
It fucking works. How dare these people come out there and just be like, I think it kind of sucks.
And I'm pretty sure the Jeter thing, when he said that, was like either it was right after or right before Rosenthal is interviewing Salvador Perez, and he basically says, he asks him the question like, hey, what's bigger, like winning this, like potentially winning this, or the World Series you won in 2015 with the Royals? And he's like, look, I love Kansas City, like it's fantastic, I love winning that chip, I'm very proud of that, proud to be the captain of that team, love my time there, love everything about it, but this would be really big for our country, and it's just a different feeling, it's a different like I really think it comes back to what I was saying before. I just think that there is a mindset for a lot of people that when it comes to something like this, that we as Americans, sometimes don't understand, because what is rooted in us when it comes to baseball is our team. Whatever team that you love, like that's what you are into. Like everyone else assumes, like maybe that's where even Jeter's coming from. Is like, his way of thinking is, I was a Yankee, I won multiple championships, I'm an all-time great, blah, blah, blah. Like that's what matters. This doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything in the scope of all of it. But for other countries that are trying to make a name for themselves and show and exude that pride that they have for said country, like, it does matter. Like if you don't care about it, fine. But I think because you don't care about it, Mr. Jeter, it kind of bled over into some of these players that were on Team USA not really caring about it or not going full bore for it. And that's why you end up losing and looking the way that you do throughout this tournament.
Yeah. And look, I think Rosie's spot on. That's the cultural issue right there. The U.S. does not view the tournament the same way the rest of the world does, which I think is very accurate. And I'll use myself as the example, Ibby. I think, as a baseball fan, I think the World Baseball Classic is awesome. Mm-hmm. I truly do. I think it's an incredible way to showcase what baseball is like for different places around the world. Baseball is a beautiful game. It's my favorite sport. It's always been my favorite sport. And I think the World Baseball Classic is an unbelievable showcase of that. I myself don't particularly care about it all that much, in that I'm an Italian American. Technically, most of my family was born, like 3 of my 4 grandparents were born in New York, right? Like I identify most as just being a New Yorker. Like that's who I am. So like, I don't speak Italian. I don't have a tremendous amount of like Italian tradition. Like some of the people who, were really pushing for Italy. I thought Italy was a nice story, but I thought Australia was a nice story, even though they didn't make it out of pool play. Like they were really pushing their asses off. Like I think I could appreciate all of the good stories. I think Venezuela winning was a great story. I think DR being a powerhouse, although they didn't win the whole thing, is a great story. Like, I think it's all a tremendous story. I myself care the most about New York Mets baseball. That's what I care about the most. But I acknowledge that the World Baseball Classic is awesome and that it means a lot to other people, specifically immigrants, children of immigrants, and people in those countries. And like, that's, I think, the point that people like Bryce Harper and people like Derek Jeter are missing. It's okay for you to be like, I think this other thing is bigger. Yeah, I would rather I don't play. I've never played for the Mets, right? I'm not Jeter. I don't have all the World Series rings, but I would rather John Saponaro, I would rather the Mets win a World Series than Team USA win the World Baseball Classic. That matters to me more. But I don't think it's okay for me or you or Derek Jeter or Bryce Harper or anybody to police how someone else feels about the tournament. To me, that's where it's a bridge too far. And it's kind of dumb, like just have to have a little wherewithal to be like, oh, I feel this way, but I understand why it's a big deal. And you should understand why it's important to grow the game.
Yeah. You just said like to grow the game, like you're on a panel, like the idea is to build it because it's better to have that type of, to have that type of moment, to have that type of tournament, to have more eyes on your sport and seeing the energy that it brings. Like there's no reason to pour, like you said, to pour the cold water on it. Like, I don't get why you would want to do that. Like you should be pumping it up. You should want it to be more fun. You don't have to be so buttoned up. But again, that is, and I talked about it with Keith too last week. Like that is the buttoned up style. And I mentioned Jeter last week when I was saying how, I think a lot of ball players think that, you have, especially American, like you have to be this, play the game the right way, buttoned up, like act like you've been there before type thing. And we saw plenty of discourse on that online when it came to like celebrations and whatnot. But like, you're allowed to have fun. Like I think that to poo-poo that and to like throw water on it, I thought that was wrong and not really necessary. Like you're there to talk about the classic. There's no reason to bring up, what it is in comparison, for that moment in comparison to say a World Series. Like it doesn't solve anything, doesn't help anything. And it just, I think, hurts the game of baseball.
Yeah. First of all, Odd Villain says Team Bensonhurst in reaction to what I was saying. Lazy Mary said Team Spumoni Gardens, which I'm Team Spumoni Gardens all day. They have a team. I'm rooting for that team. And then Lazy said Team Sanitation Department. This is a good one. Who the fuck does Jeter think he is? Marcus Aurelius. Such a great comment. Amy, this is a good one from Danger Zone. It says, why do they have to be mutually exclusive? Try to win every day you wake up. And I think that's at the crux of what you and I are talking about. And then we can move on from this. But because we talk about Nolan McLean and then just really kind of talk about the Mets in earnest. But again, I'm not gonna sit here and dunk on Team USA if they're sitting there going like, yeah, man, like this is, all the stuff, all the celebrations. This is war. We're going crazy. But then play like it. Then act like then want it that badly. This is, I forgot where I heard this. It was on another Mets show I was listening to yesterday, but it was like Team USA in the NBA. They kind of like, they put their sneakers on and they go hit the court and there's not a lot of pomp and circumstance. Right. But then they go out and they beat your brains in. And they should, because Team USA is going to be the best team in basketball on an international level every time. But like the way it relates to the baseball classic is like Team USA put their cleats on like they're going to go out and we're just going about our business and we're going to go and we're going to beat your brains in. And then they didn't do it. Yeah. Like if you're gonna play that way, then like to Danger Zone's point, you have to try to win every day you wake up. And I don't think they were even thinking about it most days. I think they thought like it would be nice to win. And I want to shout out Keith because I listened to the show that you guys did last week in my stead. And Keith was saying how he made a point where basically they don't take it seriously, and that's their excuse. And he and I texted him about it because I thought it was a very interesting point he made. And I took it one step further. I'll just make the point now where there's kind of this air around Team USA where they don't take it that seriously. And then if they win the whole thing, it's like, well, we were supposed to win and we don't even have to take it that seriously to win. That's how good we are. And then if they lose, they have the excuse of like, well, we didn't take it that seriously. So
right.
Doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
It's a built-in excuse.
Yeah.
For both ways.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And that's why I think it's just like, yeah, I think there is a point of this where where Danger Zone says, then try to win. Like if you're gonna do all of this, you play with fun, play with passion, and try to win. And for some reason, and I guess honestly, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the best way to say it. Team USA didn't play with fun, they didn't play with passion, and they didn't try to win. So they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, plain and simple. And I mean,
they didn't deserve to win. I know I annoyed a lot of people when I said I hope they don't win, but like that team did not deserve to win, Ibby. Like they really didn't. When you think about how they carried themselves and the way that they barely squeaked by some of these teams, like I said earlier, that was not the best team in the tournament. They were not.
And again, like I said, it was very much to bring it back to, what we are, and we're talking Mets. Like it felt like a Mets team where we would sit here saying the same exact thing, saying how, this team has pieces, like maybe if they get it together, they can win a ball game. But like, even if they make it in or they get to this point, like they're probably not going to go very far. Like everything you just said sounds very similar to the way we were talking back in September, towards the tail end there, where we're like, maybe. And I'm sitting there like, maybe they can do it. And it's just like, going into that game, it's like maybe this offense can get going. Nolan can pitch solid. Like maybe they could support him, but like bring it to Nolan, which is obviously what people want to hear too.
Really quickly before you switch gears to Nolan McLean, I just wanted to bring this up because I think this is just the last kind of thing you could say because Rosie has had some really good points.
Yeah.
Wasn't great that they were ripping off their silver medals too. They seemed petulant and arrogant. A lot of players had the medals put on.
I didn't see that.
So basically like, the medals are given on the field.
Right. I saw them put them on. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, if you check it, like there was a couple people, Schwarber did it. And there was somebody else. And I don't want to say, I know Schwarber was one. So I don't want to say who the other person is because I don't remember. And I don't want to assign this to the wrong person. But basically like I put the medal on you, Ibby, and you turn and you walk away. And like, so I could put the medal on the next person. And before they were off the field, they already took the medal off.
Okay.
With their back to the camera. Like, and it's just like, when you talk about acting like you've been there before, listen, you don't like second place? Well, then you should have played harder and you should have won. And if you're accepting second place or, at least create the like that it matters, right? Like if you're taking it off while you're still on the field, if they want to take the medal off in the clubhouse and throw it in the garbage. I think that's pretty shitty, but if that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative, right? Like, but to take it off before you're even off the field, like it means nothing to you. Well, then it clearly means nothing to you, and you've shown your true colors. Yeah, it's just a bad look all the way around. Mason Miller is what other people are saying.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. Like, I saw that they were giving off the medals, and I didn't see them taking it off, so I probably just either turned off at that point or I walked away, but I did not see that. But yeah, I would agree. That's just whatever you want to do with it after the fact, just take it, walk back to the locker room, and then you want to like throw it away or you want to just, you don't give a shit, like fine. But like in that moment, just take it, take your medicine, if you will, and then walk off like a man. And that's it. Like you don't like second place, like you said, be better. Don't let, Emmanuel Rodriguez shut you down like he's Sandy Koufax. I mean, you did this to yourself.
Odd Villain saying they sold them shits on StockX after the game. Odd Villain also said, John, you'll annoy people if you opened up an orphanage and rescued puppies. Keep shining, King. Lazy Mary also wants to know if we can get a mouse graphic run across the screen every time that my voice gets high pitched. It felt like we just took a trip to Disney World to meet Mickey. So I don't know if we can work on a mouse graphic, but I don't hate that. Let's maybe work on that. But sorry. So I kind of cut you off as you were talking about Nolan McLean, which I think we've got about 10 minutes or so.
I saw that it was started off, so I wanted to make sure that we got something for Lazy, that hopefully he's still here and not getting stuck on the train. Doesn't have service, but I did want to pull that up for him.
That's fucking funny. I didn't know you did that. That's hilarious. I hate you for it, but goddamn, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. That's
I don't even know where. What was I talking about? I forgot. I forgot because I wanted to have this queued up because I was hopeful that you would pull that comment because I saw it starred.
Anyway, guys, a bit of bad news. This is the last show Ibby and I will ever be doing together.
You look so happy though. It's like you're brought down to the field to run the bases. That's good stuff.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that's funny. That's funny. Okay.
Oh yeah, Nolan McLean. We're talking about Nolan McLean.
Yes.
Bring this down.
Nolan McLean did not have a stellar World Baseball Classic. He wasn't pitch perfect, right? But I think the blame being laid at the feet of Nolan McLean by non-Met fans mostly, especially in the final, especially in last night's game, I think is very unearned. What he pitched 5 innings and gave up 2 runs.
4 2/3, gave up 2 runs. I thought the way he pitched last night for a final in a huge spot like that, a raucous, red hot crowd that was purely and truly pro Venezuela. I thought that he did a very solid job of limiting damage, working out of spots, mixing pitches. Like I thought he did a much better job in that game than he did against Italy. And I don't think that you can really put anything at his feet because I thought he pitched well enough based off of circumstance, based off the amount of pitches that he was allowed to throw for those 4 2/3. Like you want to get on, the fact that he throws a lot of breaking pitches and that one pitch gets away, moves up the runners, flat breaking ball, drives the ball deep, sack fly. Like I get it, but that's kind of like that's baseball. It kind of happens. But to do what he did, I think that it's pathetic that the offense, knowing that a rookie is going out there in, his 10th start as a big leaguer, if you will, because like to not support, to not have better at bats, to not fight and give him what he needed to succeed. Like he did his job. I don't have an issue with it. And I'm not even saying that as a Mets fan. I'm saying that as a baseball fan. Like that happens. He should be leaving that game, be it with a tie, 2-2, 2-1, something closer or whatever, or leaving with a lead. Like there's no excuse, especially when the opposite end is Emmanuel, like Erod. Like I don't get why anyone could throw this at McLean. And we know who it is, and it's just idiots. It's Yankee fans, it's whatever, it's Philly fans. Like there's other people you can clearly look at throughout the tournament that are more of an issue for Team USA, not so much what Nolan McLean did for them in a championship game.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bryce Harper's what, a 2-time MVP?
Yes.
2 or 3? 2. And Judge has 3, I think.
2.
Yeah.
Yes.
5 MVPs between those two players. And like Harper has the audacity to, like, I know he was like, oh, McLean pitched well, but it's tough when you go down 2 runs. You go down 2 runs. 2 runs? It's tough to go down 2 runs. You're Bryce fucking Harper. On the team is you, Kyle Schwarber, Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr., Cal Raleigh, right? Like, I think Cal Raleigh had 60 home runs last year.
Yeah.
As Aaron Judge won 3 MVPs. Doesn't Bryce Harper have 2 MVPs? Didn't Kyle Schwarber had 50-something home runs last year? Bobby Witt Jr. is the second coming of Jesus Christ. Gunnar Henderson's on the team. What is this? Oh, you go down 2 runs. 2 runs. You went down 2 runs to Eduardo Rodriguez? And that was like, we was impossible to insurmountable for the list of players that I just rattled off. Like 2 runs should be cake.
Yeah, and Rosie here saying with the obvious, but it's 100% true. Like those fan bases want to avoid accountability for their own players who were far less than stellar. Because yes, I don't have it on here, but I made something yesterday where it's everyone probably knows, like the big dog meme and the small scared dog, like that combo meme. And it was just said, like, at the top it said Yankee fans, and it's like making fun of Nolan McLean, and it's the big bad tough dog, and then it's like whenever you question Aaron Judge and it's a small scared puppy like that's about to cry, it's like you can't do that. I feel like that was, you know, a majority. I could do the same thing for the Phillies too. But like it's fan bases like that think it's easy to dump on this team, and, you know, easy to place blame, because again, it's you're a franchise that's viewed as a joke, and that's what people are always going to, you know, categorize you as. So it's easy to just take that low hanging fruit. But in general, I thought McLean did a fantastic job, all things considered. I saw Lazy in the comments before mentioning how, you know, Stearns and Mendy are probably, you know, a little bit tight watching that game when, you know, he threw a total of what, 8 or so pitches last year at 98 miles an hour. Meanwhile, he's pumping out 99 in this game, and it's a game in March. Like, I can get why you might be a little bit uneasy on that. I talked with some Mets fans today at work that were also uneasy. They're like, this guy's throwing 99 this early. Like I get it. But, you know, there's a lot of adrenaline in a spot like that. And obviously you hope for the best. But in terms of his overall performance, I thought he did a fine job for what he was asked to do against the teams he was asked to do it against.
Yeah, I do attribute a lot of that throwing hard to the adrenaline factor. I really do. To me, I'm not worried about it, because I just think sometimes you get gassed up and you're just
Severino was throwing 100. Like, come on, you're amped up, man.
You get amped up and you just throw harder. Chrissy's saying can't blame the guy when he had no run support. Rosie saying it was fine. The issue was the offense. Ethan saying, yet you'll hear people say, why is a rookie pitching? Typical Mets. Also true.
Also true. Very true.
Carlos saying McLean pitched well. No run support. Is this a prelude to his Mets career a la Jacob deGrom? No, I don't think so.
Not.
You know, hopefully not.
Juan Soto will get those runs in.
Where was Captain Fraud? Odd Villain saying Yankee fans, I'd sit this one out. I do want to say Mike Laverty brings up a good point. In Harper's defense, he did say McLean has a great future and was the best arm he saw last season. He did say that.
He did say that. Yes, he did.
It's an easy cop out to just be like, oh, you get down 2 runs. Like, bro, a 2 runs should mean very little to you guys. Now I know.
Yes, that offense. Yes.
Listen, I know DR lost 2-1. Right, that powerhouse offense only scored 1 run, but if you already mentioned it, like, they were facing Paul Skeens, for 5 innings. You know, like, that's some of the best baseball you're going to see. It's Paul Skeens, you know, basically going on it's like an all-star lineup, but he's pitching 5 innings, which is more than he'd pitch in an all-star game. Like, it's a little bit of a different animal there. And also, they weren't making excuses of like, oh, we got down a run. You know what I mean? Like, it's you don't hear that. So I do think it's just a little. It's a little annoying to hear it from some of these other teams and some of these other teams' fan bases and some of these other players. And look, like, Aaron Judge is a great player. I talked about it 2 weeks ago, but, you know, he comes up small in a lot of big spots. His World Baseball Classic average is like 180. His playoff average isn't great. You know, like,
he's incredible. He is an incredible baseball player. I'm not here to shit on the guy because I don't want to do that, and I don't like to just be on a Mets show and be categorized as a Yankee basher. It's not what I'm trying to do. But
for sure,
I thought Keith said it to me, and I agree with him 100%. Like, if you want to do a comparison, and I think it does fit, even though it's cross sport. Like, Aaron Judge comes across like James Harden, and I thought that was a fantastic comparison where a guy just absolutely dominates an era in terms of offense, but when it comes to, you know, the playoffs and, you know, when it matters the most, there are some questions. I'm not trying to rip on him. He's had a couple of moments here and there. I get it. You know, the whole double look back into the camera in the playoffs last year, like, I get it. But like, it's still something that he needs to work on and get better at. Otherwise, it's always going to be this A-Rod level type of hate that he's going to get because he comes up small in these spots until he has, you know, that A-Rod like run that he had in 2009
09,
to win a championship for the Yankees. Like, until that happens, I feel like this is the fate that he's going to face.
Lazy saying, John, his WBC batting average is 222. My tweet was incorrect yesterday. Wrong, but still funny. I didn't realize. I knew I saw that on Twitter. Lazy, if I realized it was you, I would have shouted you out. Yeah, that's where I saw it. There was like a list of his stats. So I didn't realize it was you. But either way, not a great average for a guy who is truly a great ball player.
Incredible ball player.
He comes up small, arming with, like, Josh Allen is another comp for Judge, just like putting up these dominating numbers. And Ibby, I'm not a person in any sport who is going to judge, no pun intended again, a player based on solely rings. I think it's unfair to be like, how many rings? I think that's, we've gotten to that point as a society where it's too much. Now, look, if you're talking about level of greatness of ability, and now you're like, well, this guy had 4 rings and this guy only had 1, or this guy had 2 and this guy had 1, you can use that as a differentiator, right? But is anybody going to sit here and tell you Dan Marino isn't one of the best pure quarterbacks ever because he didn't win a ring? Or that Elway needed to win those 2 at the very end of his career in order to be great? Or if Peyton Manning didn't win that second one at the end of his career, he's not in the upper echelon of quarterbacks who's ever lived because he only had, quote unquote, only had 1. Like, no, so we've gone too far in that regard. But like, there is something to be said about being able to do it when it matters, whether your team ultimately wins or not, right? Like, if Judge put up a 400 batting average in this World Baseball Classic and the team still didn't win, I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, it's all on Judge. He didn't find a way for them to win. No, Judge hit 5 home runs and hit 400. He did everything he could. Yeah. So I think there's something when you look at the way these players sort of, they don't have the same level of effectiveness when it matters the most. And it is a true pattern of behavior. Like, right? Like Aaron Judge, he's on the Yankees. He goes to the playoffs every year. It's not like he's had one playoff series to judge whether or not he's been a good playoff performer. He goes every year, and the Yankees make a deep run every year, and he's not been good basically every year. Yeah. So there's a good one from Lazy as we head into the break. He did one great thing this tournament. He threw out Fernando Tatis at third when he shouldn't have been running to begin with. That's true.
Yeah, he did.
He did have a great play. Tatis is exceptionally fast. He probably should not have been running on Judge's arm, but Judge made a great throw, threw him out. That was it. That was his contribution, which if we're going to split hairs, I mean, I don't know. Could Tyrone Taylor have thrown out Tatis? Maybe. You know what I mean? Like, somebody else could have done that. Aaron Judge is not on the team to throw out Tatis at third. Aaron Judge is on that team to lead it offensively.
It's true.
So anyway, enough about the World Baseball Classic. It is in the rearview mirror. We could focus on the New York Mets, and that's what we'll do when we come out of the break. It's just a 30-second reset that I think, especially this week, very appropriate because we spent so much time in the first half talking about the WBC, and now when we come out, no more WBC talk, purely the Mets with the focus on the end of spring training coming up in just a few days, really, and then the push towards opening day in a little over a week. John Saponaro, Matt Ibanez, Til Mets Do Us Part, live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on Substack. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Yo, just like that, we are back with Til Mets Do Us Part, live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on Substack, like we are each and every single week. And of course, if you missed any of the show, you can go back in any of those places, Twitter, YouTube, or Substack, and watch whatever you missed after the live stream is over. But of course, being here live with us is the best way to become a full-fledged participant in the show, where your questions, your concerns, your heckles, your jokes, all of those things come in real time. We see them, we react to them. In Ibby's case, react to them very quickly, making something on the side that I didn't even know about that has strained our relationship irreparably at this point. But it's okay, because these are the kinds of things that can happen when you are in the live chat. Speaking of the live chat, super chats, super likes, super thanks, all of that stuff available to you to make sure that your questions, your comments, all that stuff are heard and are seen during the live stream. Take advantage of that. Please, please, please like the video. Like Ibby just said, subscribe to the channel. You cannot comment on the live shows here on YouTube unless you are a subscriber to the channel. We are trying to get to that number where we can give away our autographed Billy Wagner disc.
Yeah, 5 away.
In insignia. We are 5 away from giving that away. So hopefully in short order, maybe by next week, we can get to
be nice.
That giveaway so we can give it away to a lucky fan. Lazy Mary saying about to get on the train. So wish your boy some luck. We know Lazy Mary was once stuck on the train for, I think, 9 uninterrupted hours. So good luck with that. Although right now getting on the train seems like a better bet than trying to get on a plane or through TSA at the very least, because that has been a disaster for a lot of folks. Specifically, I've seen some stuff like in LaGuardia and JFK that look like an absolute nightmare. So don't want to talk about that too much, but man, oh man. So hopefully the train trip will be better than what a plane trip would be. Also, if you can't watch the show live, you can't watch the show back, this will also drop as an audio podcast on Apple, on Spotify, and on Amazon Music a few hours after we're done with the live stream. So there are plenty of ways for you to watch the show, listen to the show, interact with the show, follow us across social media at Til Mets Do Us Part. Ibby, before we get back into the conversation, let's hit them with a quick word from our friends at Independent Safes.
Absolutely, John. IndependentSafes.com. Independent Safes are protecting homes and businesses with secure residential and commercial safes. Fireproof peace of mind in every corner. Visit IndependentSafes.com today for security that stands strong. And that leads us right into our favorite segment of the week. That being that time where somebody needs to go into the safe, and we gotta throw away the key. And I know we just said we're done with the WBC, and this will be me putting a bow on it. I'm gonna make it very short and sweet. Into the safe this week for me is the idea that is pushed on a yearly basis of Mark DeRosa as a major league manager. I think it's time to let that rest, and he probably needs a little bit of time for this to blow over. Will it ever truly blow over? I'm not sure. Should this be the nail in his coffin? I'm also not sure. But for now, at least, I think the idea of Mark DeRosa needs to be relaxed by many. So I am going to put that into the safe. I am going to throw away the key, but not too far. I won't even toss it into the ocean. I think DeRosa means well as a baseball guy, but at the same time, maybe that baseball guy is better off where it's been, which I think he does a great job as being a guy in studio, the cool guy, whatever, relatable, funny. Like, I think that's a great spot for him. Is he meant to be in the dugout? I'm not sure. If he wants it, I think some work needs to be done. You can't just play off of said cool demeanor with your glasses and think that it's just going to work just because you have said talent. Still got to put the work in. So for now, in the safe goes the idea of DeRosa as a manager in the major leagues.
A lot of great comments from earlier that I want to pull up. Chrissy said Captain Fraud in the safe.
Oh, okay.
Ethan said Aaron Sludge to the safe. Ethan also said Will Smith to the safe. Terrible job from him handling Nolan McLean. To which Chrissy said McLean haters in the safe.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So lots of good directions. Ethan saying tribal thief and 86 miles per hour fastballs.
That's been rough. We talked about that last week. That's been rough. Yep.
They can go in the safe. So a lot of different ways to take this. And I think all of those are valid. I think, Aaron Judge going in the safe. I think somebody else said, yeah, here it is, Mike Laverty. I think the problem was Aaron Judge left his bat in the safe and then
That's a good one. That's a good one.
A good one. So there's a lot of different ways to go. Ibby, it's funny that you said what you said. Rosie said Mark DeRosa in the safe. Lazy Mary saying DeRosa proved this tournament that he is a talk show host. Yep. Again, Mickey Callaway beat him out of a job.
It's true. It's true.
Yes. Rosie saying somehow DeRosa will fail up, which I think is fair. Rabbi Goldberg saying Scooble in the safe for not pitching, not wanting
the
to
rabbi.
Pitch. Little different take, but I hard to argue with,
Yeah.
Listen. It's funny that you mention DeRosa. No, again, to everybody, if you might be new here listening or whatever, Ibby and I do not rehearse. We always do this segment, but we don't rehearse it. So I don't know who he's going to say, and he doesn't know who I'm going to say. Ibby usually goes first. Sometimes Ibby says what I was going to say, and I was going to say Mark DeRosa in the safe for the same reason that you outlined. But so I think you made some great points. I don't want to beat it over the head. The one thing I will say that takes it a little bit further is I agree with Lazy Mary. I just think you said, is it the death knell of his career as a managerial candidate? You don't think so? I think this is pretty close. This is akin to an NFL head coach who fails miserably, who has to go back as a coordinator and prove value. I think there's no more freebies here for DeRosa.
I got a good comp once you're done.
Yeah, I just think there's no more. Oh, DeRosa's going to get a managerial interview with Team A coming, just out of being an MLB Network guy. I think if he wants to be honest, he made so many mistakes. If he wants to be a manager, put the uniform on, go join a staff, humble yourself, put your ego at the door.
That's fair. Yeah.
Go manage in the minor leagues, go manage in winter ball, go be a bench coach somewhere. You have stuff to learn. I do not want to see him, like Rosie says, fail upward. I'll let you get in your comp before I go to my safe pick.
Yeah, I think the comp that I can do here, again, cross sport, but it's I don't know if he's probably not going to land a job between now and the next time the WBC happens. But let's just say, as an example, he says he would love to come back and be the WBC coach again for Team USA manager. And let's assume that Team USA opts to go in a different direction. And let's say that the direction that they go is enter said name here, and they win with said manager. Is it fair to give a comp here of Gerard Mayo with the Pats going 3-14, and then Mike Vrabel coming in and then making them not perennial, but I should say a near Super Bowl contender the next year? I feel like something like that could be a fairish comp.
I think it's because it's cross sport. There's obviously some holes in there, right? I think Gerard Mayo got a raw deal. I think there was some stuff there that the Pats did where it was let's do a, former player hire. Let's do I think he was put in a situation to fail, whereas Vrabel was put in a position to succeed.
Okay.
So I think Mayo got a little bit of a raw deal.
Year one, year two, quarterback too. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Difference between year one, year two. Their schedule was also a lot softer because of how badly they finished in that Mayo year. And, they didn't play a lot of great teams, but they still won a lot of games. So I think there are some holes in it, but I do think what you're saying is fair overall, where it's if somebody comes on, especially I know they'll be older, but if Judge is still on this team and Harper's still playing on this team.
Well, at that point, Judge would be 36, 37? Is that what he would be?
Older. maybe older.
At that point, because he's what? Is he 32? I don't know how old Judge is. Is he 32,
I don't know off the top of my
33?
head. Somebody can check. But
You know?
yeah, I listen, because I think it's going to be a harder comp, Ibby. Let's say this rolls around, in the next few years, and it is, Nick Kurtz, and it is Lawrence Butler, and it is who's the dude in DC, the outfielder, James Wood. Yeah. You're starting to get players like that, right? Maybe, and you get, it's Roman Anthony, but it's not rookie Roman Anthony. And it's, maybe it's Carson Benj. Maybe it's, you know what I'm saying? You just start to get these guys that are on this team. You're just like, damn, man, is it a totally different team?
Yeah.
Then I think you're because it's not every year, your comp becomes a little harder, but on the surface right now, I'm not trying to dump on it. On the surface right now, I think there is something where you're like, yeah, if somebody else took this team over and they won, you'd be like, bro, you kind of lost it for us.
I think also looking at it in a sense of like the way that leagues tend to treat people, I think that if that would happen, I use the Mayo one because I question if Mayo will ever get another shot again at being a head coach. That's why I use that one. And I wonder if the U.S. goes on and wins, is anyone going to be like, this guy can't manage his way out of a paper bag. I'm not putting him in front of my, leading my club when I'm trying. I'm not doing that. That was kind of where it was going.
That's fair.
I think that in general, everything we talked about there is fair still. I do.
Armand saying Judge is 33. To
37?
Which Christine said
34
Alexa
in April. Okay.
said Judge will be 34 in April, so he's already about to be 34.
Okay.
Look,
jeez.
Yeah, I think another football comp. You know how important head coaches are to football teams' success in the NFL.
Of course.
Managers in Major League Baseball, by and large, are not as important. There are a couple people that I think we could all agree win you some extra games. I think Terry Francona is the kind of
I was
manager.
just going to say Terry's the guy that definitely adds to a player, like a young team, young players, showing them the right way to play, adding that next level to them as a ball player so they can, become better, bringing forth those extra wins. Agreed.
Yeah. I think he's a guy who comes to mind immediately. There's probably a couple of others that maybe do that, but I do think, Ibby, sometimes you show in baseball that you're just not quite that you're costing the team games. Yeah. So I think that's DeRosa's biggest hump to get over is the fact that it's very hard to say how many wins a manager may have gotten you compared to a head coach in football. But it's very easy to say how many wins a manager may have cost you. And that is harder to recover from. And that's where DeRosa is. And that's why I agree with Lazy Mary, who says he's always looked overwhelmed. And I think that's true of DeRosa. We said we were going to move on from the WBC. And, obviously we put in the safe who we put in the safe. My safe pick, I won't rehash anything from what I said extensively in the first half. To me, the 2026 version of Team USA goes in the safe.
Okay.
They just weren't good enough. I think I said before, they didn't play with passion, they didn't play with fun, and they didn't win. And it's a bad combination. It's a bad look. So that's who's going in the safe, and we are throwing away the key. Ibby, New York Mets play a baseball game that matters in a week and a day. This time next week, we will be previewing the season. The roster will be set for opening day. We'll be doing our bold predictions. Fun show. And then we get to wake up after this show is done, and we get to watch the Mets play a baseball game that matters against Paul Skeens, Freddie Peralta on the mound. It's going to be awesome. But some of the things leading up to it, with a few days left to go in spring training, have been very encouraging. Most notably, Carson Benj and his 400 batting average. Batting average in spring doesn't matter, but Carson Benj looks the part.
Does.
Francisco Lindor back on the field. which bodes very well for being here on opening day. Also of note, I think the same day or the following day, Corbin Carroll also had hamate bone surgery, and he's also playing in spring training games.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been back.
Yeah.
I think his first at bat, he hit like 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Base hit, which was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, different people, but same time frame. They both look like they'll be back on the field. And Corbin Carroll, while obviously nothing to do with the Mets, great players are, it's better when the great players are playing. And because they had similar injuries or same injuries at similar times, it's nice to see that he's back on the field. I think Lindor will be back. And the other person who is back and looks to be back is Kodai Senga.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want to start with those three guys. I think that's going to probably take us towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, talking about each person in particular, I'll leave it up to you. We can go Senga, we can go Lindor, or we can go, Benj with, kind of some of the Tachman stuff sprinkled in. Also of note, MJ Melendez sent to minor league camp. So he's out on the competition. He also did go and play in the WBC for Puerto Rico, which, maybe hurt him, maybe didn't, who knows. But I think it was just the fact that he was on a split deal and he had an option. Yeah. And there's no opt-out like Tachman has. They can just stash him. So I think if MJ Melendez hit 15 home runs in the spring and stayed the entire time in Port St. Lucie, I think he was getting optioned no matter what.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I think
which one do you want to go with?
I think it's appropriate to just start with, I think we start with Lindor. And I would say that it is encouraging. And I was talking with some people about this, that, while I'm very pumped up that he's back on the field, he's smiling, he's on the thumbnail this week with a big smile, back in camp. I mean, he's always been there, but like, you obviously when you are able to play and you're in the box, there's a different energy. And like, obviously we want him to be out there. We want to see this lineup. We want to see this entire idea of what this offseason was and this plan out on full display on opening day in front of, the city faithful, the Flushing faithful, what have you. That's what we want to see. Now, I could also say, based off what I said at the start of the show, that is there a little bit of a worry on my end, mainly because, yes, him being back is fantastic. Yes, us talking about someone like Corbin Carroll coming back even earlier, a little bit younger, but still same type of surgery, same things, when it comes to swinging a bat, hitting the ball 114, fantastic. I don't know where the Diamondbacks are opening, but I'm going to assume it's a little bit of a warmer climate. I'm picturing the New York Mets and the Pittsburgh Pirates going to battle in New York, and it's 45 degrees, but with the wind, it's going to feel like 30 degrees. And now you're getting a 98-mile-an-hour Paul Skeens, cutter on the hands. How are you going to handle that? Like, that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to how things are going to start off with the hand. But he has proven to be an Iron Man in the sense of, what his body's able to handle, and his, recovery time has been fantastic. Probably should say more like Wolverine, but now I just sound like a geek. But, the idea of him being back is fantastic. And I'm pumped up that he is here. And, take it day by day. Are there options for this team if he needed an extra week or so? Yes, there are, but I do believe that he's going to fight tooth and nail to post up like he always does. It's great to see him there. I know I think he flew out the other day, but I think it was the Marlins right fielder dropped the ball. So he pulled the Saponaro there.
Yeah, he did not have his hand split open though.
He didn't split the hand, but he did get a walk.
I will say this: the play that I injured myself on was not that routine.
Okay.
It was definitely it's a play. No, I know. I just that's good because it puts it in context. Like I was trying to describe it. It's a play I should have made. It was a play that was routine enough, but it was not as routine as that.
But all in all, like I'm pumped up to see Lindor back, and I hope that it is a seamless, return. Do I think that the power is going to be a little bit sapped? I do. I didn't read anything, and maybe somebody else did. I don't know. Like I know some people have changed. I know Corbin Carroll did. I don't know if Lindor did, if he changed bats. I know that, when this happens, some guys tend to go to the axe bat, which is a different type of handle, which also is curious if he does or doesn't. I know Carroll said that, it was a little bit easier for him, but takes some time to get used to when you're used to swinging a different type of bat. So maybe that's something that can happen. I also read that players that went through this spoke on being able to take the hand off and finishing with one hand as opposed to two. I know that was a big thing as well that I read. But all in all, Frankie's back. I'm pumped up.
Yeah, I don't know if he switched bats. Lindor is notoriously, though, a two-hand finisher.
Yeah,
with his swing, a two-hand follow-through. So I don't know if you can make that switch kind of on the fly.
Right.
It's
a curious thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because some guys just naturally follow through with one hand, and if you kind of always follow through with two, it might be a little difficult to kind of change that now, because Lindor usually does follow through with both. Yeah, look, you make a great point, Armin, in the comments. The D-backs open out here in LA against the Dodgers, and it will be on Peacock. So it's going to be warm. It's not going to be 40
it's
degrees.
still tough. It's still hard to hit 98, but I'm just picturing anyone here who's played baseball, knows. And I hate, unless you're talking about and I know opening day brings those amped up feelings, but like amped up, you're playing in the cold. If it's not like a game of true merit, playing in the cold, I thought at least I hated playing in the cold, unless you're telling me oh, it's a night game. It is a playoff game, different story. Just cold games, they suck. And then you picture getting 98 on the hands and you just had surgery on your hand. That sucks.
Yeah,
it
does. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And listen, like you said, baseball's a warm weather sport. You really shouldn't be playing baseball when it's 38 degrees, 42 degrees. It doesn't feel great. And to your point, Ibby, if it's a night game in prime time in October and you're in the playoffs,
different story.
We're talking about a different thing. There was a comment before about, the comp of people trying to take the momentum of the WBC.
That was lazy. Yeah, I agree.
It was lazy to
agreed.
A 162 game season. You can't.
No.
Because you can't play like your hair's on fire for 6 months.
You burn out.
162. You could do that for 2 weeks. You could also do that for, 3.5 weeks in the playoffs. So, yeah, if it's 40 degrees and you're playing a night playoff game and you know that you're on the road to the World Series, it's a little easier to get up for that.
You're warmed up by the adrenaline.
Yes. If it's a day game, now opening day, to your point, maybe a little different. Maybe you're fired up because it's opening day. But what about game 2?
Right. Exactly.
What about game 6?
Right.
Opening day's opening day. Lindor wants to be there. I wouldn't be surprised, Ibby, if Lindor looks, it's Skeens, so take Skeens. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if Lindor looks great on opening day. And then maybe a week later, you're like, man, Lindor,
Yeah.
And I don't want to put that out into the world, but I'm just saying where it's just that's your adrenaline. Your adrenaline's peaking for opening day. This guy's been working his ass off to try to get back for the start of the season. This guy couldn't go and play for Puerto Rico for 2 different reasons, basically, for the hamate bone and the insurance stuff before it. So this is a guy who's Lindor has nothing to prove to anybody, but he's got a chip on his shoulder right now. You can tell he wants to be out there. He wants to do his thing. I'm worried a little bit more, again, Paul Skeens notwithstanding, about game 2, about game 7, about game 14, where it's still going to be cold out. And that stuff is going to be a little bit of a problem. So maybe he will change some things up. And listen, Lindor heals really well. You mentioned Wolverine. I get it. He heals quickly. So maybe this is a non-factor, but we won't know until we see it.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's out on the field. I'm happy he's playing in games and doing what he's doing and all that stuff. Great. It shows the recovery has gone
the way they hoped it would go. Like this
Yes.
is another progression, like, which is obviously great news. If he wasn't out there, you'd be like, oh my God, something's off, which then definitely puts opening day into question. But to this point, things looking good and it's progressing the way it's supposed to, which is all you can ask for.
Yeah, let's change gears, talk about Senga. Ethan says, pump the brakes on Senga. I'm waiting till he does it in the regular season. They've babied these pitchers way too much, not even past the 50 pitch mark. And is pitching tomorrow. That's, I think, and is pitching tomorrow. I was like, that's an odd typo because I thought it was I'd pitching. I'm like, what?
Ethan's pitching tomorrow. That's what's going on.
Ethan is going tomorrow for the Mets. It's towards the end of spring. They send a lot of people down, and sometimes they got to just get a starter up here. Look, no, I don't want to say I know I did say he's like all the way back. Obviously, you have to see it in the regular season, right? But Ibby, the thing is with Senga, we have seen it in the regular season. Last year, before he got hurt,
14 starts worth.
Right. He was not good. He's fine. He was
best ERA.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. And we saw it before a couple of years ago where he was great.
Yes.
Now, you've mentioned this. Other people have mentioned this. Kodai Senga is the perfect textbook definition of a sports car. Everything's got to be perfect.
Yes.
And then he is a joy. Like, it's a joy to drive. Something goes out of whack. And all of a sudden, it's an expensive repair. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't perform right. All this stuff. That's what Senga is. But when you have a guy like Willard who's preaching Senga's his best when he's a power pitcher, true, and pitching overall to the staff, nasty in the zone, Ibby, makes me think of Kodai Senga. Now, it's everybody can be nasty in the zone, right? It's pitching to your strengths and not being afraid to use your strengths in the strike zone. That's what that means. Not being afraid to throw strikes with your best pitches. But that's what Senga does when he's at his best. And so I get what Ethan's saying. I get the hesitancy. We do need to see it because he was so bad at the tail end of last year. He was unpitchable. He went to the minors. I get it. But Ibby, a couple of years ago, Senga was sitting around 97. That's what he's doing right now. That's when he was at his best. Like, he is showing stuff in his mechanics and in the stuff that are easy to buy into. Velocity is not everything, but guess what? For a pitcher like Senga, it kind of is. Senga needs to throw hard to be the best version of himself. And he's doing it right now. And so it's just, you want to take it with a grain of salt, but it's easy to be encouraged, and you should be. Don't throw cold water on your own scenario because, the guy had a terrible end to his season last year. You know what I mean? It's okay to be hopeful because Senga has, look, Peralta changes the equation, but Ibby, you could make the case Senga has no worse than the second best stuff on the team when he's at his best.
If everything is proper, yes, you could easily place him in the, the 1, 2, 3 area if everything is clicking for him. I understand hesitancy. We spoke on hesitancy when it came to Senga. I want to say it was like three weeks ago, maybe a month ago. He's come out and he's done what he's supposed to do. He's looked sharp. I understand it's just spring. I'm not going to get too up, but I am happy with what I've seen so far. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to him moving forward with this season is going to be, do they stick with the 6-man rotation? If it's a 5, are we going to see like a piggyback situation where you start with Senga and you have Mania follow? Like, I'm curious on something like that because I do think that there are question marks that, Sean Mania says that there's not. There could be some question marks when it comes to the overall stuff and the velocity of Sean Mania. I get that he can live and succeed in the 89 to 92 range. I think last year was around 92. I think he's been more of a mid-90s guy at his peak for the most part and has found success. Totally get it. but I
He's a
still
guy, though,
wonder.
unlike Senga, he doesn't need the velocity to be successful. I think
agree with
Senga
that.
needs it. I
I
think
do.
Manaya's better with more, but I think he can get by with less.
I agree with that.
Compared to Senga.
But the main thing here is then if that does become the case, does that change the equation for Senga when it comes to the sports car analogy of needing everything to go right? Well, then if we pivot off of, if they choose to do this, if they pivot off of the 6-man and it becomes a 5-man piggyback situation, is Senga going to be able to handle that? I know that they want to keep some of these guys on 5 days rest and proper. I know that they said that about Peralta for sure. Like I'm curious in that sense in terms of if Senga can handle the rigors of the season as a whole. Will they continue to baby him and stay with the 6-man? Are they going to get more aggressive with the 5 in a piggyback situation? Like, that's the big thing for me. I love what he's doing right now. I love that he looks sharp. I love that he looks hungry and determined to show people who he was pre-injury last year and what he was the previous year. I love to see that. We need that. That's going to be a huge part of the success of this team moving forward with this season, how it's constructed. I understand being a little hesitant, but all of those things, that's what's going to end up determining the overall success of Kodai Senga.
Let me ask you this. This is a question we have asked each other a couple different times this offseason and spring training especially.
Mm-hmm.
Does Senga's spring compared to Manaya's spring change your answer over who you have more faith in, at least to start the season, between those two guys?
Right now, it does.
Right.
Yes.
Because before we both said we thought we had more faith in Manaya bouncing back.
Correct.
Because Manaya has just been successful in more roles, right?
Yes.
We've seen Manaya you don't want to pay him $25 million to be a long man. Sucks, but we've seen him be successful in that role. We just talked about how we've seen Manaya be successful with less velocity. We've seen Manaya be successful when not everything is 100%. And for the most part, that led both of us to feel like, well, if that's the case, you kind of have more faith in Manaya bouncing back than Senga. But right now, I would agree with you, Ibby. What I'm seeing, and again, it's not just about the radar gun, but it's a factor. Because again, Senga's no worse than the third best pitcher in terms of stuff on this team. And you could make a case that he's the second. You could probably make a case that he has the best stuff if you really tried hard enough when everything is going right. So to see things going right and to see the stuff where it's at, it's hard not to get excited. To go back to the sports car analogy, if you've got, and I'm not disparaging Sean Manaea when I say this, but like, I'll use the car that I own just to be whatever. So it's not a shot at him. If you've got a Hyundai Elantra sitting in the driveway.
I do have a Hyundai Elantra in the driveway.
I have a Hyundai Elantra in the driveway.
I have an Elantra. Yeah.
I didn't know that. But no, if you have a Hyundai Elantra sitting there, or you have, a perfectly tuned Ferrari, which one do you want to drive?
The Elantra, duh.
No, so you want to drive the Ferrari.
Yes, of course.
So to me, I agree with you. I'll let you elaborate on it now that I've kind of stolen the thunder a bit. It has changed my mind as well. Right now, today, March 18th, I have more faith in Senga, and that was different 2 weeks ago and a month ago where I had more faith in Manaya.
I agree. And I think I spoke about this with Gab too when she was on, and we were talking about like people that can serve multiple roles. And I was like, I can't trust Senga in anything else outside of being a starter, and things have to be right for him to be that. And I was like, I could trust even though it'd be it's an overpaid spot at that point if Manaya was more of a swing man type or long man, but whatever works based off of the circumstances, and this team can handle it. But right now, today, I would say I'd probably put a little bit more trust in Senga. Is that risky? Sure. But is Sean Manaea risky as well? Yeah. And how this how they end up choosing to go with the rotation. And I still bring back to weather because, if it's going to be in New York, depending on where they're, where they are in those first handful of series, like if he's going out there, he's like, he keeps on saying like, once I get the adrenaline of the season starting and being back up north, like I'm pretty confident that the radar gun's going to be in my favor. Could very well be the case. I also fear trying to rev things up when it wasn't really revving up in 80-degree weather and thinking you're going to do it in 40-degree weather. Like I have questions, and I still wonder about the elbow a little bit and the the loose bodies and things like that. And you've seen other players go down this spring with things that are similar, and they get scoped, they get it cleaned, and they're going to be out a couple of months. And I'm not saying that has to be his faith, but is that in the back of my mind? A little bit, yeah. Have I seen things from other people on this staff that are a little bit younger that show out a little bit more and give me more hope, aka Christian Scott? Yeah, I kind of do. But that's going to be someone that's on standby clearly at in Syracuse that I think is going to get that quick call if things don't go proper and they do want to keep a six-man in this scenario, if you will. So I trust Senga more today on the 18th, as we are a week away or 8 days away total from opening day. Could that change over this amount of time? I don't think it's going to, outside of an injury, knock on wood. But to this point, Senga has proven that he looks to be ready, whereas I still question, the warm-up nature that Minaya is going through. It feels a little bit late in the game. We'll see if he's telling the truth once he steps on the rubber, be it in Queens or on the road for us in the regular season.
I'm going to bring this one up. It's addressed to me, but I'll address it to you, and then obviously I'll answer it too. Joshua Likes Graham Crackers says, "Hey, John, how worried are you about Minaya on a scale from 1 to 10? Ibby, how worried are you about Sean Minaya on a scale from 1 to 10? If you want, I can answer first because I saw it, so I've been thinking about it.
I would say because pitching is about consistency. You do need velocity to an extent, but I know he can win without it. I think he's a gamer to an extent also.
I feel like you're going to say the same number that I'm going to say.
I'm going to say, all things considered, right now, my worry is a 7.
Oh, okay. Close. Not the exact same number. Yeah. I am going to add, and this is unfair in a way, but it's unfair because it has nothing to do with how he's pitching, but I do have to bring it up because it's a factor. And that is, Sean Minaya makes $25 million a year.
He does. That's
a lot of damn money to have this level of worry in a player that's never been elite, right? Like, this is not, man, it's like, if Johan Santana is just healthy, like we dealt with over those couple of years, if Pedro Martinez could just come back, I know he's a little bit older. It's like, yeah, Pedro Martinez is a Hall of Famer. Johan Santana was, when we got him in that first year that he was here, was the best pitcher in baseball. Like, where you're like, okay, and I understand salaries were a little different then. It's not as extreme now. But my point is, like, there was stuff you can hang your hat on with those guys. Minaya has, half a great season with us in 24. 3/4 of a great season. So just for the sake of being different from you, Ibby, the number that I had in my head was 6.5.
Okay.
So pretty worried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Josh was saying, looks like a bad contract right now. Ethan saying that's why I called him the tribal thief, basically stealing money.
Josh, we said it last week. I mean, we talked about it. Me and John broke it down. I said why I was worried about signing him. I thought that the body might break down. It was too much. It was
you and I both didn't want him.
It was riding off the adrenaline of 24, and he was doing everything right. But then again, you choose Chris Sale, man. Chris Sale is phenomenal. He's an incredible pitcher, but it's a guy that just he's a different type. He's clearly a lot more electric when he is proper. Like, he's the definition of a sports car. Like, that's the guy where that is the Ferrari, man. Like, when he is on, it is incredible.
Right. Best pitcher in baseball type stuff.
Yeah. Like that, and that's not Minaya, but he found success. But when you emulate that, man, you're playing with fire, and we're dealing with the with the repercussions of that now.
And look, just to be clear, Ibby and Sean Manaea seems like a really, really good guy.
He seems awesome.
Really
yeah.
does.
Very cool guy.
Seems fun, seems genuine, cares about his team, his teammates, the community.
Yeah.
Can't say enough good things about Sean Manaea.
Agreed.
From what we've seen from afar. Neither Ibby nor I have ever met him, never talked to him, but from what we all see, seems wonderful.
Carries himself like a true pro.
Yes. So not trying to put him down at all. However, Ibby and I, if you go back, you can watch it, you can find it. Neither one of us wanted him back. The Mets signed him on a flyer 1 year, $10 million deal. Now he's making $25 million. We both said we understand why, if you're the Mets, you did it.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of like to a lesser degree, because Cespedes was so good for those 2 years leading into the longer contract he got that was then a mess. But like, it's not a complete albatross contract, right? It's 3 years, $75 million. For Steve Cohen, it's not a big deal. But the $25 million in AAV is a lot.
It is.
That comes with expectations. Like, you gotta be pitchable, man. And my worry, Ibby, is as high as it is because there's a chance that Sean Manaea is, I hate to say this, I'm trying, like, this shit is a positive show this week. But just being real, there's a chance Sean Manaea is never good again. Never.
There is.
I'm not saying that this dip in velocity means that, and I'm not writing him off, but like, age, loose bodies, inconsistent career, there's just a chance he's never that good, and the Mets owe him $50 million. So my worry's pretty high, yeah.
Honestly, I was opting to be a little bit more positive. That's why I went with the 7. But if I wanted, like, I could easily go higher on that number in terms of worry. Easily, I could. You know, if 10 being the worst, like I could push it if I wanted to like a 9. If I truly want to like dig deeper, like I could, because I still think that they're like, maybe I'm wrong and I want to be wrong, but I could see it where if he comes out and it's not that pretty, but the Mets still win, they're like, oh yeah, he goes out there and he guts through 5 innings and he gives up 3 runs, but the Mets scored 5 today and he gets the win. It's like, yeah, but like, I feel like he might be that guy in the staff where it's like he gets batted around and he gives up runs, but the Mets score the runs, they back him up, and it ends up like evening out, which is great. Like, win the ball games that you can, but eventually you run into a pitcher that you're facing that you can't do that, and then you start questioning if you want to keep running out Sean Manaea. Like, that's kind of where my brain is with him right now.
He is the kind of player, if I told you Sean Manaea will be like healthy all season, he'll throw, 165 innings.
That'd be a huge win.
But he pitches to a 4.50 ERA. Still a huge win. There's a lot of innings.
It's a lot of innings.
You're not counting on him to be your ace anymore.
No.
He's not even your number 2. And regardless of what happens with Senga, he's not even your number 3, right? It's Peralta, McLean, and then it's either going to be Senga or Holmes as your true number 3. And then Peterson is on the depth chart in front of Sean Manaea right now. So if Sean Manaea is your 5 or your 6 or whatever, you'll take that stat line right now.
Oh, 100%.
But that's when it circles back, though, and this is why it's sort of unfair to the money. But that might be who he is. You're not paying that. I don't care about the innings. A 4.50 ERA is not worth $25 million a year. But that might be who he is, which is who he was when they signed him to the 1 year, $10 million deal.
Correct.
And if that's who he is, that's still valuable. You're just not getting your money's worth, and you have to be okay with that. You just have to be, because that might be it.
If you were able to get like that is like pie in the sky. If you got 160 innings from Sean Manaea this year, and if you pitched to a 4.5, you would take that every day from
What would you
fifth, sixth, I was gonna say, like, if he pitches to like a 4.2, I'd be like ecstatic. 4.5, I'd still take it.
let me ask you this. Let's say he does pitch to a 4.5 ERA. What's the lowest number of innings you would take to consider it a success? Because I agree, 165 is good. Like, that's where you're like, okay, I'm trading because he is out there. I saw somebody in the comments, like, that's like Bartolo Colon. You're throwing innings. You're giving us innings in the back end of our rotation. Where do the innings start to not be worth the ERA for you? It's probably, if we're being honest, it's probably under 150.
In terms of, so you're saying what is not worth $25 million?
No, because it's not 450 even at 165 really isn't worth $25 million. But when is it like, man, he's given us that 450 ERA and I'm taking it because he's throwing a lot of innings. What's the number of innings where you're like, it's really kind of not worth the ERA?
I mean, if he's only I
think it's under 150. I think if he gives you 150, I'd still stomach it.
Yeah, I would say like if it's only like, I was gonna say like 120 innings, like no.
Yeah, I think
like,
that's about where.
I don't think that's worth it then. Like that becomes a problem to me. Like I fear like if he was able, all things considered, where he is right now, like I could easily question if this guy could give 120 innings. And if he gave that right now, it's like, it is what it is. Like, I guess I'll take it. But I could also say that it might not even get to that point because of what we have in the minors that could come up and aid us in that type of situation where you don't even get to that point. But like, if it's less than 120, like 120, you're pitching to a 4.5, 4.6 ERA, making 25 million, getting batted around, like, it's kind of like, give me the next thing. Where's Christian Scott? Where's Jonathan? Stop with the long relief for Tobias Myers. Like, let's go and change this up and let him just be a long relief. It's very easy for us to see a flop of Myers going to the rotation and Manaea replacing him in a longer relief role. Like, that's definitely possible too, unless it gets to the point where he's getting batted around so much that you do not want to put him in a spot unless it's mop up.
Well, that's the problem. See, here's where it becomes full circle. I can live with 88, 89 miles an hour from Sean Manaea pitching to a, let's say, 4.25 to 4.50 ERA, giving you innings as a starting pitcher. That's valuable.
Yeah.
Pitching to that same 4.25, 4.50 ERA obviously would be less because of the innings, but you see where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Pitching to that same quality of ERA at that same velocity, 88, 89 miles an hour, even in a long relief role, I don't want that player. Yeah.
It's tough because you're definitely going from then velocity to soft tossing, which very easy to sit on then. And then becomes a big problem for you and puts you in a spot. Yeah, very true. Very true.
It's also hard, Ibby, because like you said, there are options, right? There's Tobias Myers, fine. But then like even in the bullpen, like, Dylan Ross, sure. Ryan Lambert, sure. Maybe at some point, both of those guys are a part of this bullpen, and I think they will be. But then even guys like, Adbert Azalea, who needs a little bit more time to come back from Tommy John, was reassigned to minor league camp a couple days ago. That's a guy with a lot of stuff. Yeah. Even a guy like, I don't know, and I don't know what the conditions in his contract are. It was a minor league deal with a spring training invite, but like, Carl Edwards Jr. might be able to give you more stuff at that point if he's still on your roster. There are going to be options. To me, Sean Manaea kind of has to work as a starter. He doesn't have to, but he has to. You know what I mean? Like, he's done it in relief before, but if the things about him that are not going great right now mean that he can't be a starter, he's going to be a worse reliever.
I think
that's my problem.
And I get it wholeheartedly. I think the only potential argument that could save it would be if the less use and the less need to hold in the reserves. Like you could empty the tank more. Like that's the only, like maybe you get something in a shorter spurt because it's not being done on a 4, 5, 6 inning an outing type of thing where there's more wear and tear on the arm. Like you're just emptying the tank for an inning or two here and there. Maybe the stuff becomes a little bit better. Maybe there's more velo. Maybe it's a little bit sharper. Then it's palatable to have that and the results are better. Like that's the only thing I could potentially grasp at, but I also know me saying that is still grasping at straws.
Do you think Shamanaya is on the team on opening day?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Unless they do a phantom thing and they want him to keep him down longer, like that's always possible. But as of right now, and based off of how he's carried himself in these interviews, I think he is there. Yes.
I do too. I do think if one of these outings though, like blows up, I think it's like, I think it's, to me, it's closer to a coin flip that they find a way to extended spring training him. With the way Tobias Myers is throwing, and it's always easier to shorten somebody up than to lengthen somebody out.
Right.
And you won't need they don't really even need a 5th starter, let alone a 6th starter.
Right.
For like 6 weeks, the way the schedule shakes out. The only caveat to that being it's opening day, a day off, and then it's 9 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 games in a row in April, you get a rain out. You might have an early doubleheader. Who knows? So that does change the math a little bit, right? Or it might be the case where if you got a rain out or a snow out somewhere, it actually might save you because then you just have an off day.
Right.
And then you worry less because the odds of them trying to do it, I don't remember exactly who they're playing in that 9-game stretch, but if as long as it's a team you're going to play again, then you don't really need to force feed that doubleheader right then and there. So it is tricky, but I do think there's a little bit of coin flip. Lazy Mary brings up a point that I was going to say here is you could do the Mania Myers piggyback. You could do that. I think there is something to be said for that, which allows you to keep Myers stretched out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have him pitch 4 innings or whatever. So, you could go that route. Let's switch gears really quickly and talk about Carson Benj.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Benj playing his ass off, looks the part. I said before, MJ Melendez reassigned to minor league camp. Mike Tauchman really also playing very well. Ibby, I think it's fair to say Tauchman is the floor, Benj is the ceiling.
Yes, it is.
But Benj is also showing you right now that what he's going to give you might be a pretty decent floor. In other words, he might not give you his absolute ceiling. He might not be ready to be the Carson Benj that we'll see maybe in a year or two with a little bit more power and a different kind of player in that regard. But he's going to play a very good right field. He's staying in these at-bats. He's working his walks. He's getting his singles. If he's going to do that, isn't he just as good as Mike Tauchman, if not better?
People will argue the power, but I still think that if I get all of those things, I will work with the growing pains and letting him get set experience that can make him a better ball player that much sooner, because I still think that within this lineup, you can have those ups and downs and he can still, find his way, if you will, because we are much better this year than previous years, 1 through 9. I think that they should both make the roster, him and Tauchman. I just think that there is no reason, zero reason. I'm tired of Mets fans that are playing the contract, the extra year, all that nonsense. Like, I'm not about it. I want this team to be aggressive when it matters, and there are spots where you are allowed to be aggressive. This is a spot where I believe you can be aggressive. He has held his own. I have seen his name talked about this entire offseason, and I truly believe that moves were made with him specifically in mind, not the idea of signing Mike Tauchman to a minor league deal in hopes that he can break camp to then take the job to hold back Carson Benj. I don't think it makes sense. He's done everything he needs to do to make it onto this team, as has Tauchman. I'm not taking anything away from him. You want to question the power, the in-game power of Benj right now? You could, but he does everything else proper. He does everything else good to very good. Is he going to be elite in anything? Still to be determined.
And
But
to
if
be
he
fair,
is
Ibby,
solid
his
across the
profile,
board, yeah.
he may never be elite in anything.
And there's
His
nothing wrong
profile
with that.
is a guy who might just be good to very good at everything, which is not a knock.
No, not at all.
He does not profile as the type of guy who's like, he doesn't profile as a 35 to 40 home run hitter. He also doesn't profile as a perennial 300 hitter. He doesn't profile as a guy who's going to steal 40 bases a year. He profiles as a guy who might hit 25 home runs and
I would
hit
say
like
high end. Yeah, 25.
Yeah, 25 on the high end.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25,
Yeah.
who might hit 260 to 270, who might steal 15 to 20. That's fine.
Yeah, like if you are a guy that can be someone in a lineup that plays strong defense and you could be a 20-20 type player, high end, 90th percentile, 25-25, like, yeah, I will gladly take that from the left side. And of course, there's always room for improvement as you get older, you get stronger, so on and so forth. Like there are even bigger outlier seasons that can happen. But he's done everything he needs to do to make it onto this team, and he should be on this team.
I have been adamant all offseason, all spring training, the entire time that Carson Benj will make the team. Even when other people were saying that he wouldn't, I still believe that he will. I've thought that there is an avenue to keep both players. Now, I don't know what the Mets conversation with Mike Tauchman was, as Ibby has to step away for a moment. That's fine. I don't know what the conversation was with Mike Tauchman. Hey, if you're not going to be a starter, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we'll trade you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we'll release you from your contract, which I think he does have an opt-out coming up in a couple days. I think it's Saturday. But if Mike Tauchman is also game to be a bench piece on a good team, they're both going to make the roster. I saw something before. I think it was from M-Easy talking about backup shortstop. I don't think the Mets are going to carry a true backup shortstop. They haven't basically in the entire Lindor tenure. Now, I know him coming off the hamate surgery is a different animal to an extent, but I just don't see them. I don't see them prioritizing that. Not for the likes of Vidal Brujan, no offense. Not for the likes of Jackson Clough, no offense, right? These people are, it's the Zach Shorts, right? Like, okay, so they'll be on the team for a week and a half and then you'll cut them and then you'll bring back somebody else. Mike Tauchman's a Major League Baseball player. Keep Mike Tauchman. Now, I understand it's a little clunky, right? Because you've got Soto, he plays every day. You've got Luis Robert, he's going to play a bulk of the time. But to me, Mike Tauchman is a guy who also should make the roster. Not when we're talking about Vidal Brujan being the backup shortstop. Something happens to Lindor that's long-term, you have to deal with that. Something happens to Lindor that's, for a half a game. You're telling me you can't put Brett Beatty there? You're telling me you can't put Marcus Semien over there? You're telling me you can't put Polanco or Bichette there in a pinch? You can. I don't think they want to do that. Those guys that I mentioned, Simeon's old, Beatty's never done it, Polanco was bad at it, Bichette was bad at it. But if you had to, you can do it. And it would be okay. And that would be fine. So I think both guys will make the team. I think both guys should make the team. I do just want to bring this up really quickly. Christine saying, if Benj continues, Cohen could have spent $700+ million more prudently. Shrug. Which is, I think about Juan Soto. I will just say this, Christine, respectfully. Juan Soto is going to go down as the best player to ever wear a Mets uniform. So he worth all the money. It's just, he's going to be the best player that ever played for the team. So I disagree. That's it. I disagree on that. I just have to.
Sadly, we had someone in our TikTok comments when I was talking about Soto last week mentioned how he does not care for Juan Soto. Gave me like an entire, diatribe that he expected me to read, and I just responded by saying, "I'm sorry you feel that way." That's it. Like, It is what it is. But no, Soto is going to be incredible for us. Like, let's not do that.
Let's do our crown comment and let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's
do you
do
have
it.
one? I do. I can
You
start.
go first. You go first.
So this crown comment, this is the first time, maybe first time winner, I
what do you got?
believe, and first time that we didn't bring it up when it happened.
Oh,
but I'm
okay.
bringing
What
it
do you
up
got?
now.
What do you got?
Mike Laverty. Is that a raccoon? Talking about this.
You know what? I'm going with that one. Laverty takes it. That's a good one.
I didn't bring it up simply because
That's
we
a good
kind of
one.
like we had our own jokes about it. I started and then we moved on. And then it didn't make sense to bring up, but I was like, that's good. It's funny. It's Mets. It's Mike Laverty. You nailed it. You
Mike
nailed
Laverty,
it. And as a first time winner,
crown.
sometimes you got to give the edge to a first time winner. So.
I think that is, in a spot that has been dominated by Lazy, Carson, Keefe, and Odd. You got Gab mixed in a couple of times as well. Yeah, I think a first time for Laverty here makes all the sense in the world. That's a great comment. That's a good one.
It's a great one. I also think Gab might have the best percentage because Gab isn't here as often.
That is true. That is true.
Gab might have the best, is how like Carlos Beltran had the highest stolen base percentage of all time.
Right.
Like he didn't have the most, he just like had the highest success rate.
Yeah.
Because when he stole, he would usually make it. I don't think he has that anymore. I think somebody passed him. But point is, for a while, famously, he had that. Gab may have that percentage because when she's here, she tends to have a good one. So, Ibby, anything else we didn't get to before we get out of here? This is a good show. Next week, it's going to be a better show. Next week's going to be a better show. It just is what it is.
Yeah. So everyone,
opening day eve.
Yeah. I'm expecting a lot more people to be here with the excitement of the season, being the eve of the season, and our Mets being back. Make sure you're here next week. I got nothing else to add for this week, but make sure you're here next week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think we're 4 subs away from 1550, so I can give away that Billy Wagner 2025 Hall of Fame inscription memorabilia. Make sure you're here. We'll have our bold predictions. Usually we go about like 5 each. Sometimes we go over. We don't talk prior. We don't give each other hints. Nothing along those lines. I have some ideas in my head already.
The only one we both know we're going to do, which we do every year, is the last thing we do is the record.
Yes.
We will usually find the over under from a reputable place that doesn't pay us any money, so we won't shout them out, but a place that you can find online. And then we will do the over under on win totals. So that is the only one that we do that we know we're going to do every year. Anything else, it's all fair game. It's numbers based, it's awards based, it's just vibe. I think one year, one of my best ones that I hit on, I said that 2 years ago, Mark Vientos would have more starts at third base than Brett Beatty, and he did. But like, it could be that, right? It could be that. It could be this person's going to hit 50 home runs. It could be this person's going to win blank award. There's no limit to what it can be. And Ibby and I do not talk about it. We do not compare notes. I think it makes for more engaging because sometimes we pick the same thing too, which is fun.
Yes.
And also we invite all of you to go ahead and do that as well. So,
so please, everyone, show up next week. If you're here, if you're listening, make sure you show up, get into the comments, sub the channel to be a part of the conversation, like the video, all that great stuff, because we want to hear all the bold predictions. That's probably going to be a dominant portion of, probably the second half. I would assume we'll preview the season to start.
Any surprising roster things that might happen,
right.
I just
probably have some
say,
resolution. With
Craig Kimbrell won't make the team. If Craig Kimbrell makes the team, we'll probably talk about it. If Benj doesn't for some reason, we would be talking about that kind of thing.
But make sure you come with your bold predictions. Again, keyword there, bold. Got to be bold, okay? It's very easy for us to take chalk. Like, I don't think me and John are just going to sit here and say, Nolan McLean's going to win Rookie of the Year. Like, no, we're going to attach some more stakes to it, more to make it boldish. Don't just take the chalk, okay? Have some fun with it. It's meant to be a little bit outlandish, over the top. That's why they're called bold predictions.
Right. But Juan Soto's going to be a finalist for the MVP when he's already been a finalist for the MVP.
Right.
Not bold. Not bold. Not bold enough.
Not bold. Like, I went bold last year as an example. I got it wrong, but I went bold and I said that Juan Soto was going to have more runs batted in than he would strikeouts. I was wrong on that one. So, but again, it's about doing something different, a little bit out there, have some fun with it. That's all.
Bring these back next week, but these are examples of bold as we get out of here. Lazy Mary, Jonah Tong, Cy Young, there's my bold. Tony HVAC, Juan Soto, 50-50 season.
But Lazy, shout out to Shay, friend of the show, who came on with his videos, because we did the videos last year, right? When people send videos and we played them. Shay
that's right. We should do that again.
We could do that again. Yeah,
I forgot about that. Email us a video of your bold prediction. Preferably 45 seconds or less.
Yeah.
We would appreciate it if it's 30 seconds or less so that we could play more of them.
Yeah.
Email us a bold prediction. You can put 2 of them in there if you can get to them quickly. It's Til Mets Do Us Part at gmail.com. And we'll send out a tweet.
We'll put a post out too. We'll put a post out for it too, is to make sure that everyone sees it and can send stuff in. But I think that that's always a fun thing. But, shout out to Shay last year, who said that, Jonah Tong was going to make his debut on the New York Mets. I think he was, he might have said like he was going to pitch a playoff game, but he basically said, well, everyone else was talking about other pitchers. He was bringing up Jonah Tong, who no one really thought was going to be brought up that quickly. He did hit on that one where Jonah Tong was on the Major League roster, making a difference or trying to make a difference for this team on the back half of the season. So be bold. Don't be afraid. Be bold. Have some fun with it.
We will put out a post about it, making sure the email is there and everything. But again, under 45 seconds for sure, preferably under 30 so we could play more of them. Shoot the video horizontally so it fills up the screen for us here. We'll give you all the instructions, and also you can just throw them in the chat next week when we're live. But if you're so inclined to make a video, it's nice. We switch it up a little bit, gives Ibby and I a little bit of a
bigger part of the
break.
show.
Yeah, gives you an opportunity to show out. I forgot we did that last year. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of folk did. I think Chris Ferraro. I think Jeff Cohen might have made one. A lot of folks did. So want to get on the show? Want to have your face seen? You definitely can. Next week, bold predictions, preview the season, opening day eve. For now, that's a wrap on this show. I'm John. That's Ibby. This is Til Mets Do Us Part. We will see you next week. Peace.